Today's guest is working constantly to teach kids to mind their own business, and it's not what you think. You'll meet him coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're focused on junior achievement, and we're visiting with Mike Campi, the president of Junior Achievement of South Carolina. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming in. This is incredible.
Oh, I'm excited.
Just learning about junior achievement and giving viewers an opportunity to learn about what all y'all do.
It is. Well, we really appreciate the opportunity. Junior achievement of Horry and Georgetown counties is probably one of the best kept secrets here in the area. We've been busy providing classroom materials and classroom volunteers to enhance the educational experience, the academic experience of our students, to prepare them for their contribution to society as adults.
You know what I'm upset about, Mike, is we are now airing going into our third year of Carolina People, and having never gotten you in, knowing that you've been in Horry County for 20 years, you've been heading up junior achievement of South Carolina, or coastal South Carolina, and obviously Horry and Georgetown County as well. An incredible commitment, and of course we've talked to Annette Barnett so many times about junior achievement. She's called on us about donating for classroom materials, and there's so much that goes into this. It's incredible.
It is. It's a wonderful network, and I have to tell you that we wouldn't be where we are today in Horry and Georgetown counties without the commitment of our board of directors, community leaders who have been involved in getting the word out. Carolina Trust CFO Linda Art is on our board of directors.
Right.
She's a classroom consultant, and it's the partnerships with the corporate community that has taken junior achievement to where we are today.
Well, I'm really excited about focusing on that, and obviously we want to learn about the volunteers and exactly how it works, but we really need to focus on you first. Are you originally from the area, Mike?
No, sir. I moved here, about 20 years ago, and immediately was involved with another nonprofit, the Horry County Shelter Home. I ran that for 10 years, and then went with the national organization, the National Sudden Infant Death Syndrome Alliance, and then not even looking for a job. I just happened to be, actually I think I was looking for work for my wife, and I said, oh, I want to check this junior achievement thing out, and that was 2.5 years ago, and it just looked like it was meant to be. Divine intervention, and I've been there ever since.
Now, just to go back a little bit, that experience with the Horry County Shelter Home, that must have been in the early days of the home, right at the get-go, or how long has it been around? If you don't mind, I know.
To tell you the truth, I don't recall. They've been around at least since the 70s.
Really? Okay.
And I was there. I went there in '88 and
Right.
was there through Hugo, and
Wow.
And was there until '87 or '88, I think, and then left in the late '90s.
Great. And obviously the opportunity, you said you were looking for an opportunity for your wife and came across junior achievement indirectly.
Indeed, and as you know, the corporate headquarters for junior achievement of coastal South Carolina is in Charleston, but because our area covers from the North Carolina-South Carolina border down to Savannah, I can justify, and since 40% of our total students reached is in Horry and Georgetown counties, I can justify living in Conway and making the commute back and forth to Charleston when needed.
Right. So you have to get down there a good bit, though, I'm sure, particularly with you all expanding down into Savannah?
Well, down to the Hilton Head area,
Okay,
that's right.
right.
Savannah is actually operated by Junior Achievement of Georgia. But, yes, I spend probably 3 days a week on Daniel Island and running the office down there.
Wow, Mike, you're on the road a good bit. I hope you'll have a good company car there.
My poor little Mustang has about 140,000 miles on it,
God.
but she's good on gas, so.
You said you were talking about your wife. Speaking of family, do you have other family here in the area?
I do. My wife and got a 15-year-old and 13-year-old daughters. My parents have a second home in Little River, and they just went home back to New Jersey. And my brother was actually visiting in the area as well. But outside of that, the rest of the family is scattered about the globe.
All over.
Yes,
All
sir.
over. What is it about Horry County that's gotten you to stay here for 20 years, Mike? Now, you mentioned back home to New Jersey, so I guess Jersey was home originally.
I grew up on the Jersey Shore, and I actually honeymooned here, and back in the mid '80s, and I just felt that it had everything the Jersey Shore had to offer. Only the weather was nicer, the water was warmer, and the people were friendlier, and never went back.
Yeah, how exciting. And of course,
Social workers will never make a lot of money, but they can pick and choose where they want to provide their skills, and males in the social work environment are rare. So I figured, well, this is a great place to bring up a family.
Speaking of that, males in the social work environment are rare. Share with the viewers a little bit about what prompted you originally, you think, Mike, to get involved in social work, and how that's enabled you to continue to strengthen your position here in the area.
That is a great question. I have to say, at Rutgers, I started out majoring in baseball and minoring in girls, and then finally grew up a little bit and then chose marine biology. That wasn't for me, and then ended up in exercise physiology.
Yeah.
While I was in there, then switched to psychology, and I had an internship at the Douglas Developmental Disability Center, and I was working with these young children with profound disabilities. And I just remember the sense of accomplishment for something as simple as teaching someone to write their name or to tie their shoes. Those are some of the things that I recall that were just so, had such a profound impact on me. And I said, well, I'm thinking psychologically, I wanted to replicate that great feeling, and never really looked back. Then from there, it was the Children's Psychiatric Center in New Jersey, and then, of course, moving down here, the shelter home.
You said you later went on to the Sudden Infant Death Syndrome
Alliance, yes, sir. I was Director of Field Services, and I would fly around the country helping smaller chapters with their grant writing, board development, strategic planning, things of that nature, to strengthen their efforts for support services at the local level. But then again, that was difficult on the marriage, flying all over the place, and really was on the road more than I was home. And anyway, junior achievement came about, and here we are.
Right, we had another side. You brought up another side of social work, having teenage daughters. Golly, Mike. You and your wife must
Physician,
be,
heal thyself. We're having our fun summer, but when you're becoming a sophomore in high school, of course you don't even need to go to school because you know all the answers.
Right.
You really know everything, and adults really are just clueless.
Yeah.
And that's where we are right now with my oldest.
That's amazing. Well, of course, the really exciting thing is today is Monday, August 30th. It's the first day back to school, and of course, you're over here with us at 7 a.m. Sure, you're getting ready to run back to the house to get the girls off to school. So.
Oh, they'll be gone before I even get there.
But it's so exciting to think about that aspect. I'm sure that must be amazing.
It is. It's and they just grow so fast, and despite the household challenges, it really is. You just have such a wonderful sense of pride in. My 8th grader took her SATs, scored 1100.
Oh wow!
Like,
no way. Congratulations.
In 8th grade, through another program, and so yes, there's a lot of pride, but a lot of angst as well.
Well, that sure is junior achievement.
Yes,
That's
it is
amazing.
indeed.
Yeah.
It is. As a matter of fact, my oldest worked all summer at Broadway at the Beach, and she has more money in CDs right now than her father. And I'll give a plug. We opened up our CDs at Carolina Trust.
Oh,
so.
right. Good. Good plug there.
That's right.
One thing, I don't know if viewers can get a sense of that, Mike, is you're a big guy. You talked about exercise physiology at Rutgers and studying that. Did you get into that? Did you ever think about getting into that as a profession?
Well, I played organized baseball, semi-pro, and that sort of thing. But I learned at the shelter home, you needed a way to bridge the gap. You needed a way to engage the kids. And I don't sing, dance, or tell jokes, but I could work out with them, and it's kind of been a lifelong thing now that
Right.
I just really enjoy doing.
And that was with the guys and the girls.
Oh, sure,
at the shelter
sure.
home.
Anybody who wanted to sweat and pump some iron, we had the tools and the equipment right there at the facility.
That's a great point. Now, of course, an entirely different aspect, the junior achievement component, which is having been there 2.5 years now, you've got a pretty good sense of what it's all about. And what is it all about, Mike?
Okay, well, I think the Lord probably recognized that Mike was doing was putting out a lot of fires, and that maybe it's time to let Mike prevent some fires. And I think that's why Junior Achievement came really knocking on the door. Junior Achievement educates and inspires our youth to value free enterprise, business, and economics to improve the quality of their lives. That's our mission statement, but we are really trying to deliver that. And we do this by delivering programs from kindergartners to seniors in high school, delivered by business professionals. The program materials are multi-stimulating, I guess. Some kids are auditory learners, some kids are visual learners. These have all the bells and whistles you could ever hope to have in a class. We have some challenges, as I'm sure you're aware, in South Carolina. Last year, for example, South Carolina had the second highest rate of increase in bankruptcies in the entire country. We were second to Guam.
Oh, my God.
Guam, we had a 19.2% increase in bankruptcies in South Carolina in 1 year, and 99.79, almost 100% of those were not the Kmarts, not the Enrons, but our neighbors. These were personal bankruptcies. As such, there's a snowball effect, a very harmful side effect, because what's happening is people go unpaid, companies go unpaid, and there is a deleterious effect that we are trying to overcome. Here in Horry and Georgetown counties, Georgetown County has a 1 in 3 students doesn't graduate high school. In Horry County, we're considerably better than that, yet more than half, approximately half, over the two counties of those who do graduate directly enter the workforce. They're not 4% go into the armed forces, but outside of that, they're entering our workforce. They're working for us, and with no understanding of workforce demeanor, no interview skills, resume writing skills, and these are all skills that we are providing in the classroom with our programs.
Mm-hmm. How fascinating. You know, I wanted to get back to that purpose statement and just break that down a little more. The Junior Achievement strives to educate and inspire. Of course, that's vital. Young people to value free enterprise, businesses, and economics to improve the quality of their lives. Can we break that down a little bit? The value of free enterprise. There's probably a lot of folks, when you think of free enterprise, what should a viewer take from that?
Well, the American free enterprise system is, flawed as it may be, is the most wonderful economic system in the world. And this, well, you're living proof. We can say that. Your entrepreneurial spirit, the idea of providing goods and services to a community that people are willing to purchase. Mm-hmm. Our motto here in Horry and Georgetown counties is 10 years of teaching kids how to mind their own business. And to me, I think that says it all, that we would like them to understand scarcity and production and how and capital investment and all the facets associated with running a small business. Now but we need to keep in mind that our own home is a small business, in that we have assets coming in, basically our paychecks, and we have expenses, our household expenses. We're teaching kids at the 8th and 9th grade level that about personal finance, budgeting, how to maintain their finances, the concept of saving and delayed gratification, so that they can save for the longer term. So there are many components to junior achievement. Our 7th grade program is a dropout prevention program. We know that lifelong earning potential is enhanced 42% if you graduate high school versus not graduating high school, and that's huge. So when we get back to quality of life, again, these are as far as Horry County is concerned, it's the difference between eating in and going to a local restaurant. It's the difference between going to the beach and maybe playing putt-putt. Again, it has to do with personal finance.
God, Mike, this brings up so many questions. I don't even think we can cover all this in a week, and we got about 10 minutes. But you think about the aspects of how do you get this material into the classroom? How do you work with the school systems here and along the coast? How do you recruit volunteers or counselors to work with you? There's so many questions. I hate that we only have 25 minutes because there's just so much to get into.
Well, you'll just have to have me back.
We will. Okay. That's right. We will. Real quick, are there aspects like this in the school systems that are not part of junior achievement? I mean, are there aspects like this in the daily curriculum?
The reason we have such demand for junior achievement is because it's at least at the lower levels, the elementary and the middle school levels, there really are no economics-based programs. There's social studies, but I'll give you a quick example. Our 2nd grade program, for example, has an interactive activity whereby the kids are given cardboard donuts.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, I read about that.
And they punch the donuts out, then they color them, then they put glue on them, and then they put paper sprinkles on them, and that constitutes one unit. Right. Well, each child is challenged to see how many they can make in 3 minutes. Okay? And then after that, they get into groups. They get into teams. And what happens is one child punches out the donut, the other one punches out the hole, and they work down the assembly line, and lo and behold, they are learning what Henry Ford taught us 100 years ago about mass production, and that's very, very exciting. Our seniors in high school, they're graduating, and the first thing they receive in the mail is, "Congratulations, John, on your accomplishment. We want to be the first one to offer you a credit card." And I know that the seniors this year are probably already receiving them. And they want to, come on guys, let's go to the factory stores and let's break this baby in, and they'll charge $300 to $300 on this brand new card. They get their bill and they see, wow, I charged $250, I only have to give them $21 back. And of course that's the minimum payment. And then they get the next statement and they see that the balance hasn't even really changed because they didn't make a dent in the interest. Junior achievement is all about teaching personal financial responsibility and preparing them for the rigors of adulthood.
This is vital. Just vital, Mike, and to think you're starting that in the 2nd grade and the kids are getting something out of that. I remember seeing some of the cartoons or some of the pictures that were drawn. It was Mandy Dennis's 2nd grade class at North Myrtle Beach Intermediate, and talking about a guy from TGI Fridays who'd come in to work on that donut experience. Thinking about thanking Mr. Tony for having been there, but seeing what the kids were writing. Not only that aspect of making the donuts and working in teams, but we learned about tax collection, and that those funds are used to help pay librarians and school teachers and the policemen and I mean, these are 2nd graders. You're talking about how old are 2nd graders? I mean, that's incredible.
We have 5th graders who understand all the parts of writing a check, the routing numbers and the account numbers and what the actual check number means. And they understand that when mom writes a check, she's not paying with a piece of paper for the products or groceries or whatever that she's just purchased, that this is actually a withdrawal of funds that they have. And I mean, I'm still trying to teach my wife that.
Oh, you better be careful.
Right.
She's going to be catching this.
That's right. She might. But at any rate, yes, we need to understand. We take so much for granted as adults, but if we're teaching this at a very young age, how much impact can this have on their lives?
Mm-hmm. We got 5 minutes, Mike. You got to think. There's so many aspects. How do you get this into the schools? Are all schools allowed? And how could a viewer, if they were interested, could they make a donation to help the programs? Obviously, much of our focus was on the golf tournament today. We got to highlight that real quick, but we need to get a phone number.
Sure.
What's if viewers need to run to work right now? What's the best phone number someone could call here in Horry or in the PD or southeastern North Carolina to learn more?
Well, locally, my cell phone number is 729-6072. The headquarters office, and again, I spend 3 days a week there, is 843-745-1141.
Okay.
And we are always looking for volunteers. It takes 3 things to make a junior achievement program happen. One is a little bit of money, okay? And, of course, we're always looking for corporate support,
right,
individual support, and we have fundraisers such as our golf tournament that's coming up. The other is a school that wants us. Currently, we have far more schools who want junior achievement programs than we can currently accommodate. The third is a classroom consultant, someone from the business community, a retiree. It can be upperclassmen in business at Coastal or Tech. Someone who has knowledge in the business arena that will augment our own program materials. We're talking about 1 hour a week for 6 to 8 weeks. That's how long our programs actually run. And again, it's just 1 day a week. If any one of those 3 components are not met, we simply can't place the JA program.
Mm-hmm. Golly, okay. I was thinking how many guests give out their mobile phone number, 843-729-6072.
I'd love
you
to hear
want to
from
be
them.
reached. I mean, you know, obviously you cut it off at some point during the day so you get some sleep, but you want to be reached. You want folks to call and say, I can offer this, or I know someone who may be interested. I mean, any kind of call could be invaluable.
Indeed so. And I've got voicemail, so, you know, leave a message, and I'll definitely get back to you.
Right. The date is 9/10, September 10th. It kicks off. It's a Carolina Scramble format. You were saying earlier it's the Wizard Golf Course, and the great thing, it's 1:30 in the afternoon on a Friday.
We did that, and this was actually the brainstorm of Scott Brandon from Brandon Advertising. He said, nobody can give up a whole day. Nobody that we're trying to attract can give up a whole day. Let the business execs go to work in the morning, have their clubs in the trunk, put out whatever fires need to be put out, and leave for lunch and not come back on a Friday afternoon.
Right.
It's also the Friday after Labor Day,
Right.
So the kids are back in school, and it'll make for a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. Carolina Scramble is simply everybody drives, you play the best drive, and then you play your own ball in. Mm-hmm. And so we're looking forward to having a great time, and God willing, great weather.
You've got some great sponsors there. I think Carolina Trust Federal Credit Union wrapped around it this year as the presenting sponsor. I think I saw Burrs and Chapin and Coca-Cola as beverage, and other types of sponsors there in that program, and a heck of a lot of sponsors. You've got to have sponsor support, whether it's for events like this or so many of the other events you have year-round, like the Bowl-a-thon and some of the other things. I think there was something down at Kiowa Island.
That's right. We're very fortunate to have Carolina Trust as our presenting sponsor this year. They're involved both with the golf tournament, but also with their teaching in the classroom and our other special events and so forth. So we're very blessed to have Linda and Carolina Trust in our corner.
So many great aspects of events on a daily basis that make this a special thing for children. And obviously in Horry County, Georgetown County, up and down the coastline. If the biggest inspiration for you on a daily basis, Mike, would be?
Oh, the feedback from the volunteers. The classroom consultants who take the time to say what a phenomenal experience they've had. They like to share those same thank you notes that they receive from the students, and it really makes us very gratified in the office to know that the experience has been everywhere one such that everyone won. The students certainly benefited, the teacher certainly benefited, and I want to think that the society in general is benefiting from better educated students.
And I'm sure that volunteer benefits. Precisely. Mike, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Mike Campi coming up next. In Horry County for 20 years. Think about that commitment. Getting down here, committing to the area, staying in the area, obviously getting on the road. You heard him say 140,000 miles on his Mustang, back and forth a couple days a week down in Charleston. The commitment to junior achievement. Here in Horry and Georgetown alone, 10 years of teaching kids to mind their own business. What a great message. What a great message. It's folks like Carolina Trust, Federal Credit Union, and Burrs and Chapin and Coca-Cola that wrap around to make big events like the second annual golf tournament to benefit junior achievement on September 10th even that much more special. You heard him talk about raising teenage daughters. Off camera, he talks about that's why he doesn't have a lot of hair. It's incredible, the commitment in an area to help and train children and continuing to focus on their lives, whether here, whether down in Charleston, or in our entire viewing area. Mike Campi, thanks for being with us.